In this week's Friday Pep Talk, we are talking about the soulful side of business strategy. And I always say this every time I talk about this topic. I'm like, if you would have asked me 4 years ago if I would be talking about this, I'm like, no way, no way. But I don't know about you, but in case you pay attention to numbers, this episode is actually number 444. So that's where the title of this podcast came from. And we're going to dig into this a little bit. So as we were planning our podcast topics this month, I came across this theme, ironically, as this number was coming up because we're in retreat planning season. So we're getting ready to plan our fall retreat for the mastermind. And one of our retreats is called Strategy and Soul. And it's super fun because the key to retreats is the experience. And the experience is not a guide. It's not a fancy strategy. It's a feeling, right? Like it's not a checklist. It's a feeling. So for some of you who know our retreats, you might remember the Strategy and Soul retreat takes place every fall. And so we're trying to figure out how to incorporate this into our next retreat. But that's honestly where all this came from, because when I was thinking about retreats and then I looked at the number of this podcast episode, I was like, oh, I have to talk about this. Like the universe is telling me. So stick with me. This isn't as woo as it sounds, but there is some strategy involved. So as an example, I really pay attention to angel numbers. And I find when I need a little bit of a boost, or I'm just asking hey, am I on the right track? I start to see things that tell me if I'm on the right track. And one of them is numbers. So the number 4 specifically symbolizes stability, security, and a strong foundation. And for me, that's exactly what I hear when I think of the word strategy. And honestly, most of the angel numbers that I see are 444 or 555. So I'm just curious if you guys notice this when you're sort of planning things or taking a step in a different direction. Do you believe in this? I'm super curious. But for me, it's the goals that you set, the plans that you make, the execution, that's what turns things into reality. So when I see 444, I'm like, yes, I'm on the right track, right? It's just a little sign. So this part, I would say, of strategy is the part of the business that most entrepreneurs are most comfortable with, right? We like a checklist, we like a well-defined target market, a clear roadmap to success, a niche, we talk about all these things. But here's the thing. There is a soulful, less masculine form of strategy, and most people miss it. And this is something that I've talked about for a while. So if you go back to episode 286, almost 200 episodes ago, which is crazy, we did a 5-part series on this. So if you're into this, go back and listen to that because we talk about this quite a bit. But I think it's really important to combine both. Combine the masculine and the feminine side of it, because that's where you feel most aligned, and most people miss it. So when I first started my business, I was all about the strategy, right? That's what I knew. That's what I was comfortable with. I was heads down. I'm going to launch the thing. I'm going to put the thing out there. And I forgot about the soul piece. And I would argue that the soulful side of business strategy is just as important as goal setting and execution. So if you're still with me and I didn't scare you away with numbers, let's talk about what does the soulful side actually mean? And to me, it means it's connecting with your deeper purpose, right? So your unique gifts, the values that drive you. It's about understanding what truly lights you up in your business and thinking about what's the impact that I actually want to create? Why am I actually doing this? And here's why it matters, because when your strategy aligns with your soul, I feel like it just radiates in everything that you do. You can see if you're watching this on our YouTube channel that I'm really excited about this, and I'm talking by myself in my office with nobody watching, and I'm waving my hands. This is very in alignment with what I like to do. So your audience sees your passion, they see your mission, they feel your mission, and then your business then thrives in a way that feels really good on a deeper level. So if you're okay, well, how do I actually do this? Let's unpack the soulful strategy just a little bit with some real life examples. I always like a good case study. So let's talk about it. So for me, I can see when someone is in alignment with the soulful side of strategy, when you see a business owner glow online, right? So I would argue that you're watching a reel or you're seeing them talk about, this happens with some of my clients. I see them talk about like a launch that they're excited about or like a new product. And that's because their content resonates with their message. It feels genuine and you can't help but be excited for them, right? That's the power of soulful alignment. So let's use an example. When I first started Crush the Rush, it was all just like, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, write the blog, launch the course, build the email list. And, I was working full time at the time and our first course, I've told this story before, like flopped. And I just kept thinking like, this cannot be sustainable. And I need to feel better because I can't do this forever. I was doing the things and maybe you can relate, but it just felt so empty because my content felt super forced. Maybe you felt that way too. And I wasn't connecting with my audience. Maybe you also felt that way. Like no one was responding. And I wasn't responding either. I was like, this does not feel right. And then something shifted. I started to ask myself these like soul searching questions. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what truly lights you up in your business? And how can you do more of that? We talked about that a little bit last week. And then, what is the impact that you want to create? Sometimes we get straight to like launching the darn thing and we forget, like, what is our actual mission? Like, what do we want to create? What is the impact? And I have a quote above my desk and it says that if your dreams only include yourself, I have to actually go look at it if you're watching our video. If your dreams only include yourself, they aren't big enough. So what are you doing to make your dreams and your impact more than you? And to me, the answer hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was like, it's not just about building a successful business. It's about, I want to change families' lives. I want women who felt like I felt in corporate of like, hey, I like my job, but I really don't want to do this for the next 10 years. How do I actually get to spend time with my family? And how do I actually get to make an impact at the same time? So now above my desk, I want to change 100 families' lives this year. And that hits different. That's what gets me excited. That's what gets me talking in my office by myself on a random Tuesday, recording videos because it's different. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the strategy shift happens. So for me, my content became more personal. I recently have really talked about like my struggles and my triumphs and how I shifted from hosting, a course, which didn't do well, to mastermind groups and retreats and creating space for connection and growth. And guess what? You all responded. You responded because you saw the excitement in my voice. You could hear the passion, and that's driven everything since. So another example, let's pretend you're a graphic designer, right? Let's do another case study. Maybe your core value is creativity and your unique gift is really visually stunning designs. So how can you integrate that soulful piece into your strategy? So maybe instead of offering generic design services, you niche down and you focus on businesses that have really bold, bright, creative visuals. And you create a portfolio that showcases your unique style. And you write blog posts. We talk about content all the time about the power of design and storytelling. And suddenly you're attracting clients who are the perfect fit because it's an extension of you, right? It's an extension of that like bright, bold, creative visual that feels different. So if you are feeling stuck, especially in this season, what if you took a look at your soulful strategy? And if you're listening and you're like, okay, maybe this is true, Holly. I know it's true. I want you to listen to this, but like, how do you actually integrate this? Like, give me the steps. So let's give you some questions to get you started. So I want you to think about, what are your core values? Like, what are your non-negotiables in business? What is your unique gift? Like going back to that like bold design, like what's something like of a special talent or perspective that you can offer the world? I would argue that one of mine is like bringing people together. Like I love doing the retreats. I love brainstorming and masterminding. Like that's so fun for me. And then last but not least, like what impact do you want to create? Like what kind of impact do you want to create so that your goal is bigger than just you, right? Like how can you impact the lives of your clients or your community? And I feel like, I know if you slow down to align your strategy with your soul, you're going to discover this like whole new passion for your business. And, I've shared my story a little bit, but I really wanted to create a community where I could connect with you in real life and in person and make an impact for our family and your family. And honestly, that's where our whole product suite came from. And it looks different than anyone else has created because it's my like soulful thoughts. So my question is, what are yours? And the key takeaway in this is when your strategy aligns with your soul, it's not about the bottom line. It's about creating a business that feels true to you and resonates with your ideal clients. And it's about building something where you can sit in a room like I am right now and talk about it to no one and be just as excited as if you were talking about it in a room with, 500 people. So it's just a reminder that the soulful side of business isn't this like fluffy woo concept. Like it's a super powerful tool that can really take you from the grind and being stuck into something you're really excited and passionate about. So again, I want you to think about what are your core values, what are your unique gifts, and what impact do you want to make? And then just think about what is your current business strategy? Does it align with your soul? And where are these areas that you can inject more passion and more fun? We've been talking about that a lot lately. And then what are some soulful wins that you've had lately? Like what feels good, what's worked well, and how can you do more of that? And one of the questions that I get a lot in the summer is it just feels harder, it feels slower. And so I'm challenging you to flip the model. Like, let's bring out that like soulful side of business strategy. Business is not always easy, and it's okay for it to be hard, but it should be aligned. Like it should be aligned with your values and your outcome. So if you're ready to infuse your business with some soul, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode and what soulful activities you can infuse in your business plan. And don't forget to go back and listen to our 5-part strategy and soul series. It's episodes 286. And I can't wait to see what you do with this little challenge.